All right. Round two, fight. Good evening, y'all. It is the day after Independence Day. Hopefully, you guys had a wonderful holiday and got to celebrate the independence of our country. I am personally grateful for the holiday because my brother, Sean, was born on July 4th. Um, and for just a little bit of humor, this year I got him a lordship in Scotland. So my brother now, if you ever get to meet him, I'm putting this out for all of anybody that would ever watch my stuff. If you ever meet Sean Molohon in person, his official title is Lord Sean Patrick Molohon. It's how it would be if he actually went over to Scotland and saw his plot of land in Gilnesh. So that was quite humorous. Now I haven't been on for about a week for a reason. Um, I actually got a chance to talk with my therapist a little bit, and he said, he kind of asked me a really interesting question. He said, Mike, since you've been out there to advocate for the kids in Middlebury, have you taken any time off of that? And I kind of was like, how do you take time off of time where, like you don't have a job right now? I have one, but it's, not like, how do you take time off from advocacy? It kind of confused me for a little bit. So I I kind of responded to him and I said, what's interesting is I don't think that I have. I think I've been impassioned ever since John Homan died. And I don't think that I've kind of come down off of that a little bit. And so I took again, this is why it's so great to actually have, a therapist or a counselor, or someone in your life that you can, share your problems with, at least on a level that you can help, at least maybe lighten the load a little bit, even if they don't have the solutions. Pointing out a different perspective, like, hey, why don't you take a little bit of time, breathe, and then come back, So the last video I did, had hope lost, and it was a pretty emotional video, and I kind of took the time through that with my brother's birthday yesterday, and I was just like, you know what, I'll come back and I'll come back here on the 5th or the 6th, and we'll do it with what I found to be my new, what I hope to be my new debut stuff. So here are the interesting things that are going to transition. One, I am going to be moving out of this place and into a different place relatively soon within the next few months. The transition sometimes always puts a little hamper on when you can broadcast, when you're not, you're transitioning, internet's yada, yada, yada. I'll let you know when all that's going to happen. I actually start work at the beginning of August. So I will have a full workload, going forward then. But what I've decided that I'm going to do is every other night for about an hour, I'm going to come on here and I'm just going to go live. And if no one comes on, then that's completely fine with me. I have no problem with that. I take some time in the evening every night anyway to look into possible things that I could help with in an advocacy sense. One of the things that I've been blessed with is a very loud voice, as some people are now coming to realize. And it's always been a calling for me to use that voice to help others who are afraid to use theirs, or if their voice has been made to be so small that it's almost imperceptible. So they need someone like a microphone to help advocate for them. And I've never shied away from that. So thankfully, Middlebury has not given me anything less to do when it comes to that advocacy department. But as I've kind of spread it out in my own life too, now that I'm going to go and have another caseload of a few hundred children, it's got me to a point where I want to continue my advocacy on a regular basis. So while I'm at work, I'll be doing that at work. And then an hour each night, I'm going to take some time for myself to advocate. I'm going to come on here probably Tuesday, Thursday, and probably Saturday evening. And I'm just going to open up the floor, and it's going to be the mic drop live. And some of we can record these, we can not record these. I don't even care. I mean, I know when you go live, it saves all this stuff, but the purpose of this would be exactly what I was hoping to transition it into. And that is an open forum where people feel comfortable and empowered to come and share their truth. So to that end, let's kind of recap where we've been up to this point in that creation process. The whole point of the mic drop to begin with was to give me a chance to share my truth in a way that couldn't be told by anyone else that it was wrong. Because your truth is never wrong. It's yours and it's completely valid. And anyone else that would try to make you feel like your truth is wrong is trying to make their truth seem more right. And hopefully you've kind of seen that a little bit. And Middlebury is, you know what, here's the thing about Middlebury. It's doing my work for me now. I don't know if you guys had an opportunity to watch the last video of the school board meeting that Pam Kaiser posted, but they're bullying each other across tables at the school board meeting with the superintendent right in the middle and the president right in the middle, not doing anything, which I guess, you know, given their current stance on not wanting to take issue on anything, it may be inappropriate for them to get in the middle of a bickering match between school board members. But in my purview of that, there was a man there with some very great points that got shut down constantly. I'm hearing story after story now, thanks to the entirety of Middlebury community, about how Joel at the Essen House and the corruption that kind of exists within that whole thing is not just, you know, tied to him. And it's unfortunately not just tied to his treatment of the Middlebury children that have worked for him. And because of that, there's more and more information coming in about the varying ways in which the corruption has spread. And so what it'll end up doing is it'll end up being one of these kind of just a safe place. One of my professional goals, so you guys know, within the next year or so, is getting to a place where I could be my own therapist. Not my own therapist, to be a therapist, in addition to being a school counselor to get licensed. And my youngest brother and I, David, created a plan. We're going to start actually studying tomorrow for our respective tests. So I've always told my kids, and I just want you to know, I'm living the same advice. I've told kids for a decade how much I hated geometry in high school and how I needed to take the smartest kid in class out to Steak and Shake and buy that kid a milkshake like every Wednesday just so he would study with me, because I was that inept when it came to geometry. Like math and me, we just never really saw eye to eye. People and I, well, we could see eye to eye if they're above 6 foot, but sometimes it's kind of hard. A lot of people look up to me. We'll just say it like that. But in true essence of that, I'm going to start studying for an exam, and I'm bringing the smartest person I know along with me, which is my youngest brother. And he's studying for a different exam. He's going to be doing a study for something in the computer technology type of programming-ish world, system administration. So I'm taking my own advice, and I'm studying with a study buddy to go and take the next test to do what I want to do. So if y'all think I don't preach or I don't practice what I preach, just so you know, I'm still doing it. Okay. But what started with a very, very unfortunate, brutal situation at Middlebury Community Schools with the middle school turned into an advocacy for everyone who could feel that way, potentially both as staff, as students, even as parents that I'm hearing now have been marginalized to that degree as well. Which shocks me, because how are you going to put yourself above the families that you claim to have a community schools for? Yeah, I don't know if I'm ever wrap my head around one, but that's okay. I don't have to anymore. And it got to be an outcry. It got to be a tidal wave. It got to be, people coming on and commenting and sharing stories, and those people are sharing stories, and those people are sharing stories. So here's where we're at now. The mic drop is a single drop, which is exactly what I was hoping it would be in a future wave of looking into the corruption around Middlebury entitlement schools. And the stories that keep getting shared with me, and I'm responding to as many of them as I can. So for those of you that have shared stories with me, thank you. I'm still going through and processing them as often as I can, and I want to make sure that they always get the response that I feel like they deserve. I don't want to get you like a hey, quick, thanks for sharing your story, and kind of out. No, I listen to every single one because you've taken the time to share it with me, as if it's it's like I'm going to be a part of your life and sharing this advocacy, and that's exactly what I do. Being empathic, you feel the others, you feel other people's emotions as if they're your own. And I've always tried to use that to a certain degree to help break down barriers and bridge gaps in communication, especially with kids that don't know how to convey how they're feeling, which I don't know if you've met many teenagers this year in the recent decade, but a lot of them didn't really know how to talk about how they felt. They knew how to text about it. They knew how to emoji about it. They knew how to, tweet about it. Now they know how to TikTok about it and Snap about it. So it's the verbal communication has been different, which still boggles my mind why some people who are so set in their ways expect the kids to capitulate to how things have been done for the last 50 years. And it's like, you realize now we have answering machines and caller ID, not even in separate boxes anymore. They're all in one phone, and it's a computer. Yeah, we could evolve with those times from time to time, maybe. But regardless, what continues to happen is the advocacy is getting life in and of itself. So there are different groups now of advocates, I'm going to call them that have already started to speak out about the corruption that's in Middlebury Community Schools, that have started to speak out about what it is that they've been doing. So I've come alongside something that already existed with just maybe a louder voice, a bigger firework, a mortar cannon, I don't care. And a lot of what I've been able to say in these mic drop videos is being circulated throughout the community. And it's getting the exact breadth that I've wanted it to. People are watching these videos in order to make their own conclusions about whether to take their children to a corrupt school. That's the whole purpose. It's not to go in and take down a corrupt organization. It's not to go down and, throw people under the bus who've been doing a poor job forever and make them face justice and all that stuff. That's all a consequence of removing the corruption and then trying to heal what was and what still is. That's all the stuff that's going to happen. So I'm going to be completely honest with you. After watching the last school board video and how it kind of went down, I just laughed. And I'm like, I used to feel so intimidated by you guys. And you guys are still arguing with each other like kindergartners on whose crayon is prettier. And you're the leaders of the community. Like, you can't even treat each other with decent enough respect to hear each other out. You're interrupting them mid-sentence to tell them, no, it's not that way. Oh, Lord. I would pray that some things change. And I would pray that the things that don't change are removed, because the kids deserve better. And so as the advocacy continues to filter out in and amongst itself and circulate through a bunch of different means, my need to come on here and do videos describing my personal experience with Middlebury Entitlement Schools, I've done my part. I've got my 20 episodes of half hour to hour long videos that is my soul's cry towards my truth on what happened for me at Middlebury Entitlement Schools. Now, thankfully, as a result of that, I no longer have the need or feel like I have to process through that emotionally for myself, which is fantastic because it means all of me opens up to advocacy for everybody else. And there's nothing about my truth that, gets, pushed aside in that, because a lot of my truth, most of you have come alongside and said, hey, that's been the truth of my situation too. And here's how it played out with me. So what's going to happen is I'm going to start once some transitions are going to go down. When I start my job in August, that'll be one. I'm moving out of this apartment, and the apartment that I'm trying/wanting to move into is going to be set up a bit more for the future of what's going to transpire with me. And it'll be a mic drop memorial. I don't just want to call it. It's going to be set up to be a little bit more therapeutic, because one of my professional goals is to, once I decide to move beyond school counseling, should I get to be of the age where I can no longer pep as much as I had, going into being a therapist at that point, naturally, either for youth or for families or, what have you. This kind of seems like a natural evolution for me. So that's going to be something I'm aiming for by Christmas. And by the end, by this time next year, I'm hoping that there is a completely different form of what it is that I'm doing, and it's going to be a little bit more regular. So I'm going to keep this one pretty brief, and only going to keep it at about 15 minutes, because I just wanted to inform you of what to look for going forward. Okay. as long as I'm able to, I'm going to choose an hour in the evenings on Tuesday and Thursday. So yeah, that's going to be starting tomorrow. Um, and I'm going to try to choose an hour on Saturday, probably also in the evenings, but maybe in the afternoon, because some people have evening hours and they can't work, or they're not able to get in and chime in and call in and do all that stuff when they want. So I'm going to give them an opportunity. So if there's a Saturday afternoon, something wants to happen, I'm totally cool with that. But it's going to be open mic night. That's what I'm going to call it. My advocacy is completely fine. And people have taken up what I've needed advocated for and are fighting that fight. And I'm going to continue to fight that fight exactly how I have been. But now it's your turn. Now it's your turn for your stories. So when I'm on here, I'll be on here for an hour. It'll just be whatever it is. If no one's on here, that's completely fine, because I'm going to be doing stuff for that hour anyway, like studying for my national counseling examination to become a therapist. But it's going to be completely, I'm going to call it the mic drop, mic stand type thing. I'm going to protect whatever comes in here. So if you guys have a truth that you want to share and it kind of goes along with what's going on, I'm going to try to keep it a safe place. And believe me, I have the power to do that. I've looked into what it takes to keep, we'll use the old acronym trolls, the internet trolls out. So that being said, look forward to that. I will probably put a schedule up on here soon so that people who are my subscribers can see when I'm going to go live. If that takes off and goes fine, great. If I have to adjust it, that'll be great too. But that's what's coming down the pipeline. And I just want to tell you guys one thing. Hope comes from some of the weirdest places. And it can be a fictional character in a movie or a TV series you watch. It could be a historical figure that you've read about that you've never met. It could be someone in your life right now that you've never had a conversation with, but you've just watched their work and what they do. Or it could be someone really, really close to you that just reaches out and gives you a chance to feel a hope that maybe you lost. I got that from my brother, and his birthday was yesterday, like I said, but he held hope for me when I couldn't have hope from time to time. So to that end, watch for what will be coming next. And if you guys have any suggestions, like I said, keep sending to me, because I'm answering most people through Facebook. That's probably why you're not seeing a lot of stuff that happens on the YouTube channel right now, which is okay. Again, the YouTube channel is set for me to be able to advocate for myself out there. That's what its intended purpose was. And now that there's more of an outcry for continued advocacy, we'll move the mic drop into something else that I know will also be helpful. So I love you guys a lot. I hope you're enjoying your summer for what times you do have off, if you have any. I hope you're enjoying the fantastic weather. I hope you're getting some great, great time that is whatever matters to you, you're getting to do it. Family time, alone time, reading time, time alone with nature, whatever it is. I pray that you're getting refreshed and restored, because advocacy is an ongoing battle for a war that would have to eliminate everything corrupt. I don't plan on that war ever being won. So it's going to be a continual one. So rest up. Love you guys. Take care of yourself. And we out.